Come over to the bench for another spell. Welcome back to episode 8 of the Benchwarmers podcast. In this episode, we'll be discussing the recent events that have occurred in round 16. Let's start off with a huge 66-point difference between the Geelong Cats and the Essendon Bombers. Josh, you go for Geelong. Talk me through the win and how it felt for you, mate.
Oh, it's just music to my ears. Big 11-goal win. You know, we had them from the start. It was like, you know, I haven't seen that from Geelong in a while. Usually we show little respect for the clubs that are playing pretty poorly, but it was just a completely different mindset, and it was really good to see. But, you know, it was like, you know, we played well, but, like, I think we should be really looking at Essendon for, I guess, the margin of that game. So I'll hand it over to Connor.
Yeah, you're right, mate. It was a massive win. And yeah, as you said, Connor is an Essendon supporter. So I'm not too sure if he's fully recovered from the 66-point loss yet, or if he's still sort of down about it. But I'll hand it over to him anyway. He looks a little bit upset right now. But, you know, if you need time, let me know. But I'm sure you'll take it.
Yeah, well, I did put myself through watching all 4 quarters. I need a bit of rehabilitation after watching that because it wasn't the finest effort from the Essendon Football Club. I think everything went wrong. I think you would have seen it in the first 30 seconds of play when Anthony McDonald-Tipungwuti took a mark right in front of goal and then handballed it, and it's an absolute disaster. All things said, Essendon did play very poorly in every sort of aspect of the game. I thought they were pulling it back a bit in the second half, not as in score-wise, but you know, the way we were playing was a little bit better. But then Geelong just, you know, put the foot to the throat, and full credit to them. I mean, they're a top side and they showed their quality, and to be able to put your foot to the throat of a side who's playing bad football shows that you're a team in good form, and, you know, you can finish games. And they had full confidence in each other. And, yeah, it's mentally scarring watching your team perform like that. Moen, I'm sure you've experienced that in the past years with Carlton. It's painful, but, you know, we move on to Port Adelaide, who are top of the ladder this week. So I just hope Essendon bounce back. I'm desperate. So
yeah, it doesn't get much easier. Yeah, as you said, you got Port Adelaide next week, or next round, who are on top of the ladder currently. And you know, pre-game, we posted on the Benchwarmers Instagram account you getting ready for your Essendon game, waving the flag around, you know, from head to toe, just dressed up in Essendon gear. It didn't age very well, did it?
No, I think it was just really tipped off by, you know, Irving Mosquito going down and doing his ACL. I mean, it brought a tear to my eye. Like, such a great player who's so loved in the Essendon Football Club. He's only played a couple games, but it's so sad. I mean, first Andy McGrath against the Eagles goes down, now Irving. And, you know, the record for Essendon, you know, winning a final, the days just go on, and it just gets longer and longer. It's painful waiting, but, you know, that's all we can do at the moment, just wait.
Yeah, you're right. The injury list for Essendon just keeps on stacking up, and it's really sad to see. You don't want to see anyone sort of go through that sort of injury, especially an ACL. You know, you're out for a year. So I assume that Irving Mosquito probably won't be able to play until 2022, which is really disheartening. Yeah, and just moving on, I quickly want to touch on within the Geelong versus Essendon game. At halftime, coming from out of the rooms back onto the ground, we saw some footage of the Essendon players, you know, sort of giggling amongst each other and sort of having a bit of a laugh. I just want to get your boys' take on whether you think that's a normal thing to do at AFL level when you're down by the amount that you are, or if it's something that should not be tolerated. I'll get Josh to get his take on that one first.
Yeah, look, mate. Obviously, if it was my team, I'd feel disrespected as a fan, you know, because you put all your heart and energy into this team, and you know they're down by 59. You're hoping that they'll at least, you know, they've already let you down enough, and you just want something back from them in the second half. And you see them just having a laugh about as if, you know, it's the start of the game. Like, you see laughing like that in the pre-game warm-up, you know. And
Yeah, but what's the issue with that, Josh?
Mate, you're down by 59 points. Come on.
Yeah, but what's the good and the benefit of going out after halftime? You probably just got a spray from your coach, or all your lines coaches are probably going in and be like, you're not good enough. You know, you're not performing, and then to go out there and then just to have a spray at the group. Well, what's that going to do?
Look, I'm not saying, look, mate, I'm not saying you should just go out, be all sour, because that'll definitely, you know, when you talk about optimal arousal, if you're too aroused, you played bad. If you're not aroused enough, you played bad. There has to be that optimal level. And obviously going out sour is not going to work. But also going out, you know, laughing and smiling when you're down by 10 goals already isn't good either. So I think it's just ridiculous that they're having a laugh about when you're goddamn...
Yeah, but this exact same thing happened to Richmond 2 years ago while they were winning. But
that's while they're winning.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, can I speak?
Just
Josh, you're having a go. You're having a go at...
laugh.
You said that if you supported that team, you would be disappointed and disrespected.
Yeah.
Right? Think about yourself. If you go into your change rooms at halftime and it's all down, it's all like 59 points, yes, it's crap. But if you're going to come out and you're still going to be down, what's the point? You got to keep the spirits high, no matter what the...
Yeah, I understand the spirits have to be high, but there's no need to be laughing about, you know? It's like you can go out there and go, yes.
So how do you know they were laughing about the score?
It doesn't matter if they were laughing about the score or not, but it just shows a lack of care. It really does. It shows a lack of care.
How?
Well, look, you know how when we play, right? I'm sure it's happened a lot in junior footy because everyone's mates. You all play with your friends. At AFL level, nothing changes. Everyone's still friends. They're playing footy with their mates. They're in a huddle, walking back out to the ground, probably just talking some shit to each other, having a laugh. They're not like...
I can tell you exactly what happened, right? Essendon at halftime every week, they have one player tell a joke. You watch it every week. They'll all do it, right? This week, it was Irving Mosquito. You go back, watch the replay. After they get out of the huddle, everyone taps Irving Mosquito on the back. They're all laughing, aren't they?
I'm not against it. Like, if you're...
So why are you having a go and saying...
I'm not against it if you're competing. But when you've just shown up and put in that pathetic performance and then go out looking like you're just, you know, fucking...
But they needed something to lift their spirit. They needed something to lift their spirit.
But a joke is not that. And it showed,
So what is it? So what is it?
Just to jump on board with Josh, I think when you're down by that much, like, there's really no time for having a laugh and being like, you know, it's sort of just makes it out like it's okay.
But there's also no time
to
reminisce in the first half either.
Mate, there's a fortnight left in the season and they're fighting for their finals hopes. They have to drill it back. They have a whole half to drill it back. They might not win. It might not be realistic to win. But there is so much on the line, losing this game and, of course, going into the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
And they look like they don't have a care in the world.
Look at the third quarter of that game, right? Geelong only scored 2 goals. Yeah?
Okay.
In the first quarter, you kicked 7.
Yeah, mate.
You scored the lot. Essendon played their best quarter of footy in the third quarter.
Mate, Gary Rowan
right? And you're having a crack at us. Mate, I get you're a Geelong supporter. I get you're the best team in the competition at the moment. Doesn't mean you need to go have a crack at the teams that can't beat you.
No, that's not what I did at all.
We saw it against the Bulldogs the other day. You had a crack at Sonny and all the other Bulldog supporters.
Oh, yeah, but that's because they were messaging me at halftime.
I get what Josh is saying. I get what Josh is saying. Like, I think players need to come out like locked in. They don't necessarily need to distract each other. They should all have a game face on. But I still think having a laugh here and there with your mates is all right. Like, I can see both.
Fair. That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was never against Jack Higgins doing it because he's playing for a club coming off a premiership, you know, contending for another premiership, going into the second half or the opening bounce, whatever it was. You know, they have a whole game ahead of them. But Essendon, I don't expect them to be sour, but I expect them to like say, all right, we're going to put something in this round. We have to really be.
They did.
They
did
did,
do
did
it.
they? They did.
Yeah, when
Oh,
Yeah.
so when the ball
Third
goes up,
quarter, they did, yeah.
when the ball goes up, everyone switches on, yeah.
oh yeah, I'm sure.
But in that 1 minute of play, period, when they break out of the huddle, they're not allowed to smile and laugh.
No.
They're on live TV,
Not when
Josh.
they're
What do you want
And
them to
what?
look like? You want? Oh,
Every-
we're losing by 59 points.
No,
You
it's
know, this
just
is
got to
great.
be game
I'm
face,
enjoying
you
it.
know? I can't
Look,
believe, like,
Yeah.
like, whether you're winning, losing, all that at halftime, do you see players with either their head down or, you know, all shit like that? It's always just, you know, we've got a game to play, let's do it, you know?
Yeah, look, from a culture point of view, it's good to obviously keep the mood upbeat and, you know, have a laugh
Sure.
here and there. That's what footy's all about, you know, having fun, playing with your mates, playing for each other. But I can understand where Josh is coming from. You know, when you're down by 59 points at halftime and there's so much on the line and you guys have not performed at all, it's just like there's no room for like having that luxury of being able to tell a joke. It's a job. These players have a job and have signed contracts to perform and to try and win as many games and
Yes,
play
but they're
fun.
only
Yeah, you don't
against
see any of
teams.
the Essendon fans at home laughing while they're laughing, you know? They're sitting there in front of the couch, you know, in despair, thinking, well, there goes our finals hopes. We can't even compete in the second half.
Connor, were you laughing at halftime?
Of course not. I'm not going to laugh at my team. But, like, if they're having a joke, they're human. Okay?
Yeah,
They don't have to
no,
be
I
serious
understand the time,
24/7.
But is it the
I want to
time?
ask you a question.
How do you know what was said at halftime?
It
Do you go
doesn't
back
matter
and
what
look
was
at
said
the...
at half time. It's a bad
Mate.
look for the club.
Oh, my
You
gosh.
know? You got Joe Danaher
Connor.
sitting on the fence during play, and then the next week you come out and you're laughing while you're 59 points down. Even Matthew Lloyd,
All right.
one of your club's greatest legends, has said, you look like an absolute joke.
That's actually not the words he said. He said we're not Richmond. We're
Oh,
not Richmond.
They
So
said,
what?
Alright.
he
Don't
said you're a laughing
change
stock.
the
He
words
said
that
you're-
people are
No, he
saying.
said you're a laughing stock.
All right.
Yes, because there's no culture at the club at the moment.
Oh,
If you, oh yeah, go on, go
No,
for
no,
it, go
no.
for it.
Boys, no, listen. It's definitely look. There's. I understand both sides. I really do. But for the sake of the episode, we're going to leave that to the viewers and have their say in it. We can talk about this all day, but we need to move on to the next segment.
There would be hands thrown if we were in person.
Yeah, at you, mate. Not anyone else. No, just pulling your leg, Sonny. So, Gavin Diesel, mate, if you're watching this, I don't hate your son. Anyway, so let's move on. 4 huge games in the round. 4 huge games for teams that are on the fringe of the 8. We have Bulldogs winning, we have Melbourne losing, we have GWS losing, and we have Carlton winning. This means that at the conclusion of round 16, there is 1 game separating 8th and 11th. Boys, you know what? Connor Brown, what do you think this means for the 8? Who do you think goes in? Who do you think goes out? Do you think it'll go to percentage? Like, what do you think?
To be honest, if I'm looking at the ladder right now, we have GWS in 8th. After their performance on the weekend, don't get me wrong, Adelaide, like they didn't play their best footy, but Adelaide obviously didn't play poorly and just scraped over the line or whatever. But I think Western Bulldogs are a better side than GWS at the moment. I think Bulldogs have the potential to get into the 8. I know Collingwood have some tough games, but I also think they're going to remain there. Unfortunately, Melbourne haven't played their best football, so I think they remain outside the 8. And although Carlton, you know, impressively beat Sydney in the end, I think they're just going to be left out by percentage-wise. I feel like they're just going to miss out. Not saying that they don't deserve it. That's sort of a question for the outlook of the season, but at the moment, I think Bulldogs are the most deserving team to jump into that 8.
Awesome. Sonny, I know you're a Bulldog supporter, so you'll be happy with that. Give me your spiel.
Yeah, I agree with you, Connor, but I don't reckon right now Collingwood are up for it, to be honest. I don't reckon GWS are up for it either, but currently I think GWS, it might even take over Collingwood. Bulldogs and GWS will take over Collingwood. because if you think about it, they're only half a game ahead, and you can't get half points unless it's a draw, and like it's not likely that it's going to be a draw. So technically, they're like pretty similar on points, and if GWS or the Bulldogs win and Collingwood lose, they will go on top of Collingwood, and Collingwood they have Port Adelaide in a couple of weeks' time, so they have a couple of tough games, and I see GWS and Bulldogs making the 8 personally.
However, I just want to jump back on something we said a couple of weeks ago, how Jordan De Goey was a key part of Collingwood, right? He's just about fully fit to join the squad back. I mean, and if you look at their percentage, 110% to GWS, 101 and Bulldogs 100. I mean, if it comes down to points, I think they're going to have the percentage either way. And I think with Jordan De Goey, they could be a stronger team and, beat Port Adelaide. There's nothing really stopping them.
So you reckon Collingwood could beat Port Adelaide?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Another very controversial call for such a small topic. Look, obviously, you guys all know I'm a Carlton supporter. It's going to be very tough for us to make it because we need to win our last 2 against Adelaide and Brisbane, and we also need GWS and Bulldogs to lose 1. So it'll be really tough. Look, the way I see it is, I think both GWS and GWS is not in the 8. I think it's Collingwood and who's the other team? Like right below them. Who's 8th right now?
GWS.
GWS. Sorry, yes, GWS and Collingwood. I think fall out, and then possibly Bulldogs and GWS, or maybe Bulldogs and Melbourne go in. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Did anyone else want to touch on their thoughts with the final 8?
I just want to touch on Melbourne. I think that, for a side that had a lot of potential at the start of the year, their back half of the season has just been disappointing. I thought, and many other people thought that, they would be in the 8 and, a team that could, cause an upset. But, yeah, their back half of the season has been pretty poor, and I feel that, they'll know that, and next year they need to come back stronger. And yeah, I just can't see them coming in the 8.
Yeah, and we've got in round 17, we actually have the Giants who play the Demons. I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this is an elimination game. Winner has a chance, loser doesn't. Who do you guys think? Oh, we'll leave it till the end when we do the tipping predictions. I'm sorry, but that is a massive game. That'll have a lot to say. It could even be a draw. Who knows? Like, they're both in pretty similar form. But yeah, moving on from that, sort of the saddest stories in the AFL is when players retire, and especially players who have such great resumes over their career. And the 3 that stand out, or the 3 that have retired this week, have been Connor McKenna, Matthew Cruiser, and Bryce Gibbs. Connor, I'll get you to quickly talk on Connor McKenna's retirement and what that means to you.
Yeah, well, I think if you look back at what he said last year, he was already feeling homesick. He sort of wanted to return. This year, he wasn't playing his best footy, and he even said that he wanted to return back to Ireland because he just wasn't enjoying it. And so that's what he's done. In his press conference sort of thing with the Essendon Football Club, he said, look, I'm not ruling out a return. I could come back, but at the moment I want to go home and, play Gaelic football and study and do that sort of thing. And I mean, overall, in the past couple of years, he's been a crucial part, but this year I don't think we've missed him as much. I think there's been other blokes like Jordan Ridley who have stepped up. And so I think overall it's not that big of a loss. Like, it's disappointing, but it's not that big of a loss. And I think that Essendon will be able to carry on without him.
Yeah, definitely. Look, it's sad. I mean, you want players to be happy, and obviously Connor McKenna just wasn't feeling it in the end, and sort of felt inevitable in the end that he was going to return home at some stage, which has happened. But fingers crossed, hopefully he'll come back and get back to his best footy at some point. But I guess time will tell. I'll touch on Bryce Gibbs, who was sort of, started his career off at Carlton, was a number 1 draft pick. Played the majority of his career at Carlton before wanting to go back home to Adelaide. Played 14 years in the system, and unfortunately just couldn't break into Adelaide's team in the end, and has come to a retirement. I think it's just a matter of he just got a bit too old and had nothing left to give. But I was very saddened by it as a Carlton supporter, watching him, tear it up in his younger years with the Blues, and then sort of just not being able to get a crack with the Crows was devastating for me. And watching his interview, he was sort of tearing up and got a bit of a lump in my throat watching that, just because he was my favourite player at one point. But yeah, it's sad, but it happens to everyone, I guess. And the other one was obviously Matthew Cruiser, who's another Carlton player, one club player, played for 13 years, was also a number 1 draft pick. And yeah, he just sort of was really injury ridden throughout his whole career, really. Just couldn't catch a break, the big fella. And look, he was probably one of the best ruckmans in the comp at his peak, but again, similar to Gibbs, I don't think his mind could do what his body wanted him to. And he didn't get too much success with Carlton, obviously, but still a really great career nonetheless. And yeah, I'm definitely going to miss him as a Blues supporter. So yeah, those are retirements that we've seen so far. Hopefully there aren't too many more, because as you can tell, I'm about to start crying, and it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad to hear about them, especially when you go for that team. Anyway, let's move on to the round 17 tips. Another big round of footy, because as we touched on earlier, there's one game separating 8th and 11th, and that 8th and maybe 7th, maybe even 6th spot is up for grabs. So let's get into it. St Kilda take on the Eagles at the Gabba. Connor Brown, who do you think?
I think the Eagles, even though it's at the Gabba, I think they'll play well enough to get over the Saints.
Awesome. James?
Yeah, I think the Eagles. Yeah.
Yep. Connor? Sorry, Sonny?
Where's the game at?
It's at the Gabba.
The Eagles didn't. They played all right against the Bulldogs, but I reckon they'll bounce back and have a win.
Yeah. True. Yep, fair enough. Josh Cuppen?
I was going to tip St Kilda, but I've got this funny feeling the Eagles are going to win.
Oh, yeah, nice. Look, just based off last week, Eagles obviously have a few injuries and they lost to Bulldogs by 2 points. St Kilda haven't been in the best of form, but I think they'll want to bounce back to secure their spot in the finals. So I think St Kilda will get over the line in this one. Right, now, in the next game, we have the Geelong Cats versus the Richmond Tigers. Huge game in terms of competing for the top 4 spot, and it's played at Metricon. Connor Brown.
Yeah, huge game. But what I saw from Geelong last week, punishing my side, I think they're the strongest team in the comp. I know Richmond are good, but I'm going to back the Cats.
Okay. James?
Yeah, I have to agree with Connor there and go for Geelong.
Awesome. Sonny?
If Geelong come out how they did against the Bulldogs, I don't reckon they'll win. But from their performance last week, I reckon they'll come out strong and finish Richmond off.
Yep. Josh, your Cats, mate.
This game could go either way, but we just brought back in Asava Radaglia for Josh Jenkins. So I've lost a bit of confidence, but I'm going to say the Cats.
Okay. Staying loyal to your team. Look, I'm going to go against you guys. I think the Tigers will win just because I feel like they're a bit of a younger side and they bring the pressure and they know what it's like to play on the big stages. They've done it really recently. Obviously 2 grand finals in the last 3 years, I think it is. So I think the Tigers will bring the pressure, bring the heat in the time that it matters most, and get over and just be a bit too good for the Cats in the end.
Can I just say that was terrible reasoning? Absolutely terrible. Of all things you could have said, you could have just said, they've got the players, all that, But instead you said some crap about the big stage as if Geelong hasn't been in prelims and finals for the past 2
They
years.
have, but in recent times, who has it been? It's been Richmond creating their own dynasty, mate. So
Dynasty.
I don't know.
God.
They're a much.
It probably would have been a different story
they're a
had
much younger
Collingwood
team.
have been in there last year.
Did you? Yeah. Look, did you? Like, I don't know if you've been watching footy in the last 3 years, mate, but Richmond are the team to beat on their day.
Even this year.
Even
this year.
They've been injury ridden, mate. You guys haven't. So, look, it'll be a good game, but I think Tigers' pressure is just too strong, and I think they'll get you guys in the end. But we'll see what happens. All right, now on to the next game. We have the North Melbourne Kangaroos take on the Fremantle Dockers at Metricon. Connor Brown, who do you think?
Freo.
Rio? James?
Freo.
Okay. Sonny?
Yeah, Freo.
Awesome. Josh?
Yeah, I'll back Freo.
I'll go Freo as well. Next, we have the Port Adelaide Power take on the Essendon Bombers. Connor Brown.
The Bombers are going to come out laughing at halftime, and we're going to win this one.
Are you going to wear your Essendon gear and put on another show before the game
Of course,
for the
mate.
Instagram feed again? Or are we going to? Yeah,
Connor, do you reckon
we're looking forward to it.
Do you reckon that's probably
look
where
forward.
the downfall started?
At halftime.
Reckon-
No, you were in the gear, you know?
So you just reckon since I've been born, you know,
Yeah.
Essendon haven't won a final, and I'm just
That's
a lucky
exactly
charm.
right. That's exactly what I was referencing to.
All right, I just
Oh,
might
God.
go leave. I mean,
I go for Carlton, and I've witnessed more success than Connor Brown has with the Essendon, and I've been hovering around the 8 for so long. But anyway, we won't touch on
yeah,
that.
thanks for reinforcing
James, who
that,
do you
guys.
think? James, who do you think? Port Adelaide or the Essendon Bombers?
I'm going Essendon. I'm going Essendon. Yeah.
What the hell? All right.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Port Adelaide will kill them, and Connor, we'll see another sad Connor.
All right, you don't need to you
Yeah.
didn't need to use the word kill. You could have just said Port Adelaide win. All right.
Yeah. All right. Josh Coven.
Look, I don't know if you guys realise that they're playing Port Adelaide. So, yeah. So I'm back in the Power.
Okay, we get it. You hate Essendon. You could have
Yeah.
just said that.
No. My mum goes for Essendon. I don't know where this rumour came from that I hate
That
Essendon.
has no relevance. That has absolutely no
It does. So
relevance.
I have a soft spot for Essendon, but like, come on, man. I had no
Alright.
respect for what was going on.
Settle down, vote for Pedro. I think we're going to witness a part 4 of Connor Brown crying in the sort of Zoom meetings that we do for the Benchwarmers podcast, and I think the Power will smash the Bombers.
That's stiff, Marlon. That's supposed to stay between us, mate. Come on.
I've exposed him on the YouTube channel, but it's all right. Anyway, we have the Giants take on the Demons at the Gabba. Connor Brown, mate.
I don't know if my tip is valid or relevant here.
No, this is the massive game. This is the elimination game. Finals. Go for it. Just so you know.
Yeah, I'm going to go with GWS.
Okay. Controversial. James?
I'm just going to get Melbourne.
Yep. Okay. Sonny?
As a Bulldog supporter, I want Melbourne to win, and I believe they can win. They'll bounce back. So yeah, hopefully
Okay.
Melbourne.
Sweet. Josh?
Both teams have extremely excellent players, but haven't been in good form. But I have more faith in the Giants here. You know, you can't just, I think Adelaide have shown some form, whereas Freo, I think, are a pretty average team. So
Yep.
I'm back in the Giants.
Yep. Look, I sort of just need the Melbourne Demons to win if Carlton are any chance at making finals. So I'm back the Demons. I'm a Demons supporter for one week. Now next we have the Carlton Blues. My Blue Boys take on the Adelaide Crows at Metricon Stadium. Connor Brown.
You know what? You've bullied me so much this episode. I'm going to go with Adelaide.
I'm not speaking to you for a while, mate. I just hope you know that.
I think that's the third
James.
time you said that and you're still speaking, so it's out there.
All right, James.
I don't know really, because this could be like it could go either way based on Adelaide's recent form, and then it's been proven that Carlton only rock up for 3/4 of the game. But I think that Carlton should win and need to win for their finals hopes to be alive. So
Yeah. Yep. Sonny?
3 in a row for Adelaide.
Okay. Josh?
No disrespect to Carlton. Adelaide could win because they're showing some really good form, but I think it's a certainty that Carlton will win. They have so much to gain.
Yep. Yeah, obviously Crows are in good form, but then again, we need to win. Like Carlton need to win this if they're any chance of making finals. So I think we'll throw the kitchen sink at them and we'll go over the line. Now moving on, the Hawks take on the Dogs at Adelaide Oval. Connor Brown.
No Warple. I just think Hawthorn are done. So I'm going to go with the Bulldogs.
Awesome. James?
Bulldogs.
Sweet. Sonny, your Doggies.
Western Bulldogs.
Yep. Josh?
Dogs.
I'll go Dogs as well. Swans take on the Lions at Kazali Stadium. Connor Brown.
The Lions.
Yep. James?
Lions.
Sonny?
Brisbane.
Yep. Josh?
Lions.
Lions. I'll go Lions as well. And then we have the Pies versus the Suns at the Gubba. I think if the Pies win this one, they've confirmed their spot in the 8. But it's still a big game for them nonetheless. Connor Brown, who do you think?
I think Collingwood.
Collingwood. Okay. James?
Collingwood.
Sonny?
As a Bulldog supporter, I'm going for Gold Coast, so Gold Coast all the way.
Sweet. And Josh?
Collingwood.
Yep, I'm going to follow Sonny and go for Gold Coast because I need Collingwood to lose. And I can't stand them, if I'm being honest. But anyway, sorry, James. That wraps up episode 8 of the Benchwarmers podcast. We have completely dissected round 16 as a whole and just gotten into it and given you our tips for round 17. We're really looking forward to seeing you back on the bench in episode 9, where we will talk about round 17. And
if you haven't checked out the interviews, please get around that. Also, Anthony Koudafidi's interview tomorrow. Please check that out. It was a ripper, and also check out Principal Society.
That's it. Thanks for stealing my thunder. That's it, guys. Get out there, do your thing, and then we'll see you back on the bench next week for another episode. Thanks, guys. See ya.